Hello everybody and welcome to the Total War official channel. I will be your host today, Mr. Dogbert, the greatest Total War player ever played, and that is why you have me as your teacher. And today we will be going over the very first episode of Training Grounds, where we will be teaching you about elements of Total War Arena, especially if you've never been involved or played it before. I will be here to kind of give you a kind of insight in how best to play, what to do and what not to do, and also just the basics and all that. So, looking at how the Romans trained their people, I don't think we're kind of going to put you through a 4-month training regime where we make you march and swim and the usual thing. I think it's going to be a little bit simpler than that. And at the end of it, I'm not going to give you a diploma and send you off to fight for the Empire somewhere. But you can always be your own little mercenary and do what you want in between that. So if you've never played Total War Arena and this is your first time playing, this is kind of what you would be seeing at the very beginning. You would have your commander there. That is your commander in case you wouldn't know. And you'd see him down the portrait there. And so first things first, camera options. So, where did I go? Controls, there we go. So we have a classic Total War camera, which is kind of what I'm used to playing. And then we have, down here, we have arena camera, which is much more of a kind of MOBA mix, like RTS style camera. So that's a bit more, if you've never played Total War Arena, if you've never played Total War, and this is a great one to go for. So yeah, and you've got the standard controls. There's a lot in here, and it's quite useful every so often to have a look at it, but this gets much further down the line, so I think we should stick to the basics right now. And the basics as they are is, well, Total War Arena is 10v10. It is multiplayer only. We have a progression system. We can go from 1 to 10. We have 3 factions, and we have commanders who you have from history, so Julius Caesar, Alexander the Great, for example, Leonidas, and so forth. So the big difference you'll have from a Total War standpoint, if you are familiar with the series, is you will have 3 units instead of the usual 20 or whatever you're used to in most cases. So that might sound like a kind of limiting, but while you're playing with so many other players, you're more dealing with a different range of problems and a different range of challenges and a different array of tactics that need to be applied, because you must work with people. Before, you could literally just order your entire army to do what you want. This time you kind of got to work out where to position and where not to. But that is much further down the road. We will be getting into the more nitty-gritty of everything when it comes to Total War Arena in later episodes of Training Ground. This is kind of more of a how-to and how to get started. So, got an itchy nose, not exactly brilliant for a teacher. So, units. We, at the very beginning, you're going to deal with pretty much militia units, very tier 1. So you have like a range unit and two melee. We switch over to the Greeks, who are a little bit different. You can see
with each step, bear courage in mind.
You got your spears, and you have an archer unit. So the Romans more with javelins, while the Greeks more with range units and spears. And also we have the Barbarians, and they have tier 1 cavalry.
I spit at Caesar, and I spit at Rome.
But that is much further down the line. So we're just going to go back. We're going to play with Julius Caesar today.
I am Caesar.
We're going to have 2 range units, and I'm going to change that actually. I'm going to have 2 melee units and 1 range unit. And before we start, so that's my pick. My commander is always in the first unit here. So my commander, who has a range of abilities here, which kind of give you a different kind of play style and so forth. So Caesar's a bit more of a support and engineer class, and that's kind of why he's a good all-rounder in a way, and the more you get to play, the more to get used to. You can use his other abilities, but that is further in the future. We're going to focus on the here and now and the early stuff, and we'll get into consumables and so on later. So once you've picked your troops, you can remove them like this, and here you go. You got tier 1, so I haven't got much to choose from here. So Italian skirmishers, human so they'll come up there. So just join the queue.
War, like
you can always invite friends
let
here
Rome
by when you're out of a queue, and invite buddies to games. So you can always party up. 4 people is the maximum. So you can play with groups of 4, and you can enter matchmaking, and you'll be able to play against other people of around about your tier. So that is the basics of getting into a game. It's quite quick. You will always, at early tiers, only be matched up with like tier 1s, tier 2s, which you'll all be capable of being. You'll mainly only be seeing kind of lower tier units as well. Now cavalry is there, but they're not quite as powerful as they will be late game. They're more spotting, and they're less kind of what higher tier players are used to, which is a bit more of a bulldozer. But we do have many different types of units in the game. Obviously we'll start talking about those later on, and right now we're kind of focusing more on the lower tier stuff. But as I said, the Romans have sword infantry and javelins early on. The Greeks have spear units and archer units. And the Barbarians, as it stands right now, because they're not completely finished as a starting faction, they have cavalry at tier 1, and they have light sword units at tier 1 as well. And how the three factions differ, obviously we'll get into a bit more of the deeper side of that a bit later, and that will change over the course of the closed beta and beyond. But the Romans are a bit more of an all-rounder faction, while the Greeks are a lot more heavily armoured. They've got bigger archers. Their archers are much more, range units are much better, and their range cavalry is also very effective at late tiers. But they have devastatingly heavy infantry with their spears and so forth. And along with that, they have some very, very powerful shock cav. The Romans really pretty much rely on their heavy infantry, but they do have some very good cavalry as well. And while their javelins don't have the range of archers, they do have the staying power in combat and in a range fight, where archers would usually kind of crumple and fall. And along with that, you also have the artillery of both factions. I wouldn't say anything particularly separates them too much right now. They're very powerful. And then we move on to the Barbarians, where they pretty much focus on light infantry almost completely. I think they have one medium infantry in the entire army as it stands right now, which is just range unit, which is just cavalry and melee infantry, and it only goes up to tier 8. But we'll be adding more Barbarians in the near future. So yes, if you're just joining us, this is kind of a basic how-to of Total War Arena, where we're going to be just showing you kind of how to get into the game, how to work out what you're doing, and how best to achieve a victory, and how to progress in Total War Arena. So as you can see, got ourselves a game here. You can see Germania is a very wooded map, so it's going to be very good for the Barbarians players here, which is only 2 on our team, and there is 3 on their team. So you can kind of see from the portraits here kind of the commanders they take. From that, you'll be able to work out kind of an idea on how they'll play, as each commander plays very different to the other, and obviously the units they take kind of maximizes how their abilities work. So Leonidas, for example, is very, very good with heavy infantry. So if you see a Leonidas, you'd expect him to be playing with heavy infantry. If you see a Ciarna, you expect her to probably have range units or range cavalry. And if you see Barbarians, well, at the moment, it's most likely going to be light cavalry or light infantry. And with the Romans, they usually come with heavy infantry or heavy cavalry, but sometimes they do throw in a bit of a mix there. So you can also see the enemy team as well, so you can kind of get a rough idea. And the colours you see here, this is letting you know which ones are in groups. So these 3 here are in a party. These 3 here in the light red are in a party as well, and these 2 in light purple are also in a party. So when you join up, it'll be visible to everyone else as well. So when you get into the first game of Total War Arena, you will have a minute to pick your starting location. This is your base here, which you need to defend to win the game, but you also need to attack the enemy base to also win by capping. There are 3 ways to win in Total War Arena. You can either cap the enemy base, win on points that you get throughout the game, or have more points by the end of the 15-minute time limit. So you can see everyone's picking locations. Certain ones are better than others. I have melee, so I'm going to go up here, I believe. So what this means is, well, when you see when we get into the map, we have much higher locations on the map. So this is a big mountain. There's a watchtower here and here, and I can't even draw. Terrible at drawing. And that will give you large areas of vision, and as we'll show you later on, vision is very, very important. So we have some tier 2s in our game, and I'm a tier 1. I should be able to hold my own though. I'm quite experienced at this game. But then again, who knows? So as we start, you can see here's the watchtower. You can see vision is all important to Total Arena. You can see my camera controls very simply, the drag and drop. 1, 2, 3, always 1, 2, 3. So my command unit is always number 1, my middle unit is always number 2, my other is number 3. And you see I take this watchtower here and it gives me a huge amount of vision. And then when I walk off it, you can see that this area here should disappear whenever my guys decide to leave that watchtower. You'll see, yeah, you see it goes dark. So controlling these are very, very important, especially when there's things like tall grass here, which you wouldn't have any vision in until you go over that, and you see all of a sudden we can see in there. So very important little piece of tactical knowledge. So as it comes to moving your formation, obviously you want your infantry to always kind of be the block, and your range unit to always come up on the rear here. I think I did spot an enemy nearby. So I'm using Veni here, which, oh, there we go, straight into me. They're trying to use one of their abilities there to confuse me. They ran into me, and unfortunately for them, they were cut to pieces by my infantry. So I'm off to a good start, but we still don't know where a good chunk of the enemy is. There's always a possibility that more over here. You can see lots of cavalry here, tier 1 Barbarian, tier 2, sorry, level cavalry, and they will be doing what they do. You can see I'm using my 1, 2 and 3 to kind of control my guys here.
For the gods, speed! On me! We await your command!
Don't really know what's up here, which is kind of worrying for me.
In service to Rome!
So it's all about vision, you see. It's obviously a very big high point here, but I don't want to open my flanks up too much. Oh, there we go. There is... The hold the line up there gave me an idea that there is a Greek player up there. And that will be a Leonidas. So just see if I can push up a little here and get some vision. Whoa. Oh, they have lots of archers. Which is not good. So we have to back off here. They have a lot of archers up here, and it seems like they're just holding. Ooh, hello.
With the swiftness of Mercury, follow! Attack for Rome! To battle! Melee infantry at your command! Move after them! At speed! At the double! Move out! Follow me! At the double!
Trying to keep my guys alive here. Easier said than done though. But all that cavalry has been cut to pieces, which is good. So I'm trying to just spread out this enemy here. But the more he comes up, the more we can get vision on him. Using that watchtower we were talking about before. As soon as we get that watchtower, we'll be able to turn on this guy here. There you go. So with our archer player, hopefully he'll actually start doing some damage to these guys.
One of our units has recovered. For the gods! At the double! Move out!
Waiting for that unit to get out of the way, unfortunately. Because they don't have vision on us, we are able to just constantly harass them here. So yes, I did lose one unit, but it was for the great good of the team. So I can keep vision here. And the rest of my team can just keep doing some damage. At least I hope I will, because otherwise I'm going to get killed.
In service to Rome. Happy to serve Rome. In the name
So while this is all going on, my team is capping them over at the moment.
Move out. At speed. By your command.
I'm going the long way round.
Give chase.
Meanwhile, though, our team is literally just going to cap their base. So this is the one thing about this map, is it's very spread out. It's more of a high tier map than a low tier map. And that will come in later through the development. You can kind of see that our side won over here and pushed into their base and started capping. And we are ahead in numbers. Not massively, but enough to make it pronounced. And there you go. So you go. We've got a bit of points there. We did win. Wasn't too bad. But you kind of see there, kind of a bit of bait and switch and backing off whenever we can. So that was the first game with Caesar. So the battle is over, and from that I gained a certain amount of silver, a certain amount of commander of XP, and unit XP. Now, those are the 3 things you gain per game. So my silver is based obviously on how much damage and stuff I do. You can see the breakdown here from damage, also from vision, which I got on my enemy, and also from teamwork and stuff like that, and also morale. So that's where my silver comes from, and you use that to kind of upgrade stuff. Now you've also got your unit XP here, which is the light colour, and then you've got the light blue, which is for your commander XP. So what is your commander XP and what is your unit XP, and how do they differ? So your commander XP means this is your commander XP up here. So every time you have a game, you'll get a certain amount. I got 178, and I can use that to upgrade abilities. Now, previously in that battle, I was using Benny quite a lot, which gave me a speed increase and a charge damage increase bonus. So I can upgrade that now, and I can also get another ability, which is Vidi, which helps me when it comes to placing down deployables and so on. And that comes in with another commander. Now, unit XP, which I have here, these two units have fought quite well. They have 305 unit XP, and with that I'm able to unlock a new sword, a new gladius, and a cloak as well. So I'm kind of thinking about this. I want to go to the next tier. I like swordsman. You can see on the tier here. I kind of want to keep going down the sword tree instead of going up here to the spear tree. So I'm going to look at the militia swords, and I'm going to be like, okay, cool. I'm going to upgrade. So you can use commander XP, but you always want to use your militia swords. So I'm going to go for that with the silver. Now, I can't use this tier 2 unit yet, even though I could afford it and so forth, because what I need is my commander, which right now is tier 1, to be tier 2. Now, to get tier 2, I need to upgrade his abilities, because right now I have 1 chevron in there. I need 2, so I'm going to put 1 into bidding. And now my commander is tier 2, as it says down there, and up here. And with that, I can now use my unit XP to get myself a Italian swordsman. There you go. So I'll remove these guys, and now I can purchase 2 Italian swordsmen. Now, same thing with my Italian skirmishers. I'm able to upgrade here using unit XP, and then buying with silver, and then I can get myself the levies here. So there you go. I have to remove the old unit and add the new unit, and there you go. So that is the heads and tails of that. I'm going to move commander because I quite enjoy playing a certain Roman commander here.
I will do what must be done.
So he is still tier 1, so I have to upgrade him, but I have unit commander XP here, and I'm going to use that to upgrade one of his abilities. So I'm going to go with another heavily charged. I'll take an offensive test too, to give you an idea what that looks like. So I'm going to take 2. I'm going to take 3 Italian swordsmen, which is always an option when you're dealing with these. But I'm also going to do something a bit different here. I'm going to show you the consumables, which is something else you can add. So hold on. So with the consumables here for the Romans at tier 2, you have barricades, which are emplacements. So I'm going to get one of those. I'll show you how those work. And then you have the standard other buffs. So you have armor smith, drill sergeant, and weaponsmith. And these just give you a small little bonus to a particular aspect of your attack or defense or morale. So I'm going to go with armor. and with the other guys, I'm going to go for armor and swordsmith. Now you can have these restock automatically by clicking the button up here, so you'll always get these back in the next game, and you don't have to come back into here. So I'm going to remove it from my commander because I've got this habit. I always like my commander to be at the back, and I'll show you why. Not so much at this point in the game, but later on it will become a bit more evident, as your commander is always in this unit here. So this is, for me, always the reserve unit. You have your 2 front, and you always have 1 at the back. So, play, see if we get into an
My enemies will know me and despair.
So Germanicus, if you haven't played him before, he is more of an assault commander. Very much gets into the thick of things. He's the one of the better commanders for that. He has a whole range of abilities. I guess we can get into abilities a bit more now. Heavy infantry charge, which is a powerful charge. Unlike in other Total War games where a charge you would just click, double click on your enemy and your unit would charge into it. In Arena, it's a directional thing. So you would click it in a certain, if your unit's facing a direction, you hit charge, they will rush in that direction and hit anything in front of it and causing damage. Obviously you can miss, you can hit a wall and you will suffer damage, you can hit a cliff and suffer damage, and if you're cavalry, you can fly off the cliff if you are not clever. Or very unlucky, which is probably more likely. So there's always a bit of baiting charges, and there's a bit of skill involved in it. And then for his other abilities, defensive testudo, you huddle up basically, and you lose visibility, which is obviously very important. But you also gain charge deflect. So, like I was saying, with heavy infantry charge, someone charge you, that would deflect a little bit back onto them. And then you have missile block and a bit of melee defense, but you do lose out on melee attack. So you're pretty much stuck, and you cannot move either. So you're kind of stuck in place, but you're very, very difficult to kill. Then you have attacking testudo, which is more of a moving forwards, very slowly. It doesn't give you massive bonuses, but it does stop missile damage. And then you have vengeance, which is his highest ability, which over time increases and gives you more melee damage and more melee attack. And then obviously in other commanders you've got Veni, Vidi, Vici, which is a game I saw I conquered, and 1 increases speed within an area, which increases our to move forward. Obviously a bit of charge bonus there as well. Obviously Vidi helps with deployables, which I'll show you when we get into our next game, and kind of the whole thing that comes along with that. Vici, which is a melee kind of buff for melee defense and melee attack, which is very good because it's AoE, it's very, very useful. And Divide and Conquer, which is a great ability. Takes a little bit more getting used to. It will stop other commanders from using their abilities in combat for a certain amount of time, which might not sound as amazing as other abilities, but once you start getting used to countering other people's charges, for example, hit this ability when you know they're about to do it, and all of a sudden they're just walking towards you with no real way of hurting you, which is very, very useful. So we should be joining game session around about now. You see all my infantry behind. No, but this is the commander I've got. So, as you can see, the team do have a little party over there, and we are going to be playing on Marathon. Marathon being what it is, one of the battlefields in where the first Persian invasion was driven off by the Greeks, where they charged down onto the beaches and routed the Persian force before they were able to fully organize themselves, and they weren't able to use their cavalry, which is the Persians' greatest striking arm, and something that the Greeks, up until the Macedonians came along, were not particularly very efficient at. They were always a heavy infantry force, and it wasn't until much later that cavalry started to land onto the field. So yes, we do have some people in stream as well joining us for this one, so I'm sure they're going to make it as easy as possible for me to win my game, but that's fine. When I play them on equal playing fields, it's usually quite simple. Because like I said, I'm the greatest Total War player who's ever lived. So on my team you can see a lot of Leonidas. And that kind of reflects the game at the moment. And we also have 2 Barbarians, 1 Alexander the Great, 1 Julius Caesar, Oh no, 2 Alexander the Greats there. I think Alexander the Great mainly becomes later on more cavalry and ranged. And Leonidas is pretty much always heavy infantry. It's not going to have more than maybe 1 archer unit, but he's pretty much always going to be like hoplites and so forth. While there are units, so if you see a Germanicus, it's pretty much always going to be heavy infantry. If you see a Caesar, it's probably going to be artillery. If you see Alexander or a Scipio, you're probably going to be looking at a bit of a mix. And same with the Barbarian commander at the moment. They're kind of a all-rounder in a way. They can take infantry and do quite well. They can take range and do quite well. And overall are just quite different beasts in what they can bring to the battlefield. And that is all reflected in their abilities. So we'll go back over that at some point soon. In this one, we're going to focus more on the map and how that works, and the bonuses, negatives, and all that you get. So where to start? I'll just go straight in the middle. Makes everything a lot simpler. So we do have some artillery in our team, so maybe I'll show you that for the first time. So on this map, we'll be looking at the terrain. So over here, you can see at the bottom, we have a wood here, a marsh, another marsh up here, and another wood up here. And now with these, we have different terrain modifiers. Oh, sorry about my voice. That's better. So with these, you get different modifiers. So my unit here is a medium infantry unit. And I hover over the woods here, and you can see that my speed, range, and missile damage is reduced by 90% and 8% on my speed. Now, if I was light units, like these kind of here, or melee infantry, who are tier 1, like these light hoplites, yeah, I would be getting a bonus in this wooded area. So this would be a better place for me to fight than, say, if I had light infantry fighting on an open plain here. I would get no bonuses for this, so it would not be worth to fight here. It's always best to try and bring a fight in a place where you can get a bit of a bonus. So considering I am medium and not heavy, you can tell this by the chevrons here. So I have 2, that means I am medium infantry. He has 1, so he is a light infantry. And these units over here, which are hoplites, sorry, and you can see their 3 chevrons there, and that makes them a heavy unit, which means fighting where they are right now is not good, because they will get all the negatives and none of the benefits. So what I'm looking to do at this game is really just to move forward and kind of scout out what's going on, because I have heavy infantry charge, and that's my go-to ability. My teammate here has already moved out with cavalry, and he is getting murdered, because that's what happens. But this game is very much finely balanced as a team game, so you always need to be working with other people. And when other people go off on their own, or don't do anything at all, it really will hurt the rest of the team, because you really won't be able to effectively fight. Cavalry at the tier 2 are not really that effective against infantry, so they're good against range units, but nothing more as it stands right now. So you can see there's some infantry up there, got range units and everything, so it's a strong start from us. We've kind of got our line here, we've got some units that haven't quite woken up yet. You see that archer fire already firing onto these Italian swordsmen. They're going to give up a rear and take some arrows, but it should not be a big pain for them. So everything's slowing down a little bit right now. Trying to get a gauge on where everyone is. You can see here's some more Italian swordsmen, and here's that watchtower. So we're gonna get control of that. You can see here's some enemies, so finally we might actually get something to fight.
Ready for orders. In service to Rome. Spears by your command.
Also, if any allies disconnect or anything, you are able to reuse their units game, so it's not completely over. So I'm going to use Pelum here, and that's an ability that the Romans get, where you're able to move forward and throw. I'm also trying to spot what commander he had Germanicus as well.
Move out! For the gods! Follow me! Follow me! In the name of Rome! Move out! For Rome! On me! Spears! Ready for orders! Move out!
So you have a lot of archers up there in the hills.
Swords! Spears! In the name of Rome! By your command! By your command! Swords! On me! In service to Rome! We await your command! Swords! At the double! Follow me!
We don't really have any range, so we need to be very careful what we're doing here.
Orders understood! Move out! For Rome! At the double! At the double!
Trying not to get caught out here. Kind of want this guy to turn around, but doesn't look like he wants to. Whoops.
On me!
Gonna throw Pelum and I'm going to charge down.
Happy to charge! Leave no survivors! Yours to command! Spear! Our commander has fallen!
Oh no, my commander died already. That is always the danger of putting your commander at the front line like that.
Ready for orders! Melee troops! Happy to serve Rome! Yours today! By your command! Melee infantry ready!
So I'm using someone else's unit here to do all my damage.
Melee troops awaiting orders!
I'm going to try and do something here which is a bit cheeky in a way. See this unit here, it's coming in. He's going to move that in there, and I'm going to hit T. So now I've ambled this unit. Which means my oh no! Oh my god, I'm such a noob today. I'm so not used to having so many hotkeys. Yeah, usually if you hit anvil like that, you'll be able to hold them in place, and then from that, you'll be able to do a more powerful charge. Unfortunately, I'm a massive noob and cannot pull off an easy maneuver like that.
Our base is being captured! Quick, to its defense!
While this is going on though, unfortunately the enemy team is able to push forward quite successfully, and they're probably going to capture our base, as they do outnumber us by quite a bit. And that is what happens when you have teammates that kind of rush forward like that. A lot of this game is kind of working out where to go and when to go, and also always moving up with your team. Because if you move up by yourself, you will always pretty much just get smashed. But in most cases, you will get much more points in this game by actually fighting. And going for the base is a way to win, but points-wise, you will not gain quite as much as you would through actual combat. So it's usually the better way to play.
For the gods! Our base is being captured! Quick, to its defense!
Where'd AFK unit go? By AFK, I mean kind of left the game area.
In service to Rome!
Even though completely surrounded, still do quite a lot of damage to them. Surprisingly, even though they were quite like 5 units in there. So it's not always a hopeless fight. Sometimes it's always about holding them down and giving yourself a bit of time. So you can always win games if you're just a bit more careful on what you're trying to do. When people rush off with cavalry and so on, it always ends quite badly. Always try and move forward as like a continuous line, and it always works out better. So that is kind of the Romans. So kind of from this we'll show the barbarians and kind of how the spotting works and how that can be good for the rest of the team. So let's go with barbarians now. And
A
I'll show you how
child of the
this cavalry
Cherusci
works.
returns.
So barbarians are completely different to the other factions in a way. So the barbarians, they as of the moment we have a lot more to add in. And this is just kind of the start at the moment. So you kind of have cavalry, a tier 1, which is very, very different, and we have a levy tribesman. So I'm going to kind of show off the cavalry and show how they fit in quite differently to the rest of the faction.
The clans now stand under one banner.
So
My
Arminius is a
banner.
very different commander to the other ones. He has a whole host of abilities, but more focused around trying to catch people out and flanking and just all-round ambush, which is something the barbarians are really good at, considering they focus mostly in the woods. So momentum here increases your charge impact, turning speed, and speed. Frenzy increases your melee damage and melee attack, but you do suffer on your melee defense. Then you have Scout, which gives you a big visibility range boost, but also minuses a bit of melee defense. And then Infiltration, which will be able to give you vision, will make you appear in the enemy's eyes to be an ally when you are in fact an enemy, until you actually take damage or attack them. So it's very good commander to ambush and kind of scout around the battlefield for artillery and other range units, and more importantly win fights around difficult terrain like in woods and so forth. So along with this you have daily commander victories. From this, we have 3 different things. You have premium counts, which boost your XP, unit XP, commander XP, unit XP, and your silver per battle. Then you have your daily commander victories. So every time you play a different commander and get a victory, you'll get a different commander victory. As if, and every time you take more than every time you have a diverse unit setup, you will get a bonus of 30% as well in your units as well. So, the feet came up. So what did we get there? Not bad at that tier. You can see the kind of different versions of there. You can see you can get quite a bit. We did have a dropout on our team, and that's the guy who I was using his units before. So as you can see down here, also we have a light, medium, heavy. Very heavy isn't the game yet. Then you've got the different types of units, which are sword infantry, spear infantry, pike infantry, javelin infantry, bow infantry, cavalry. Cavalry? I don't know why I have to say that wrong. I know what cavalry is. And siege artillery. And special here hasn't really got anything just yet, but maybe in the future. Meanwhile, in the other room over there, we have people who are right this moment testing Vercingetorix. So that is something that's coming very soon. There you go. Don't quite know what to make of that, but there you go. That is Dave. I totally expect this to happen on a regular basis, but that's what happens when we have a playtest room quite so close. So with the barbarians here, I'll be looking to kind of do hit and run mostly. I don't have the staying power as the Romans or Greeks, so I need to kind of get in, do the damage I can, and if heavy infantry, medium infantry, or anything else starts popping up, I need to get away as quick as possible. We will be putting this up on YouTube at some point, so you'll be able to see that very soon. And yes, there will be more commanders coming for the barbarians very soon. So, got Vercingetorix there. He will be coming soon. On the Romans, we have Julius Caesar, who's more of a support and engineer. Germanicus, who is more of an assault, and Scipio, who is more all-round. And we're back onto Marathon again, which is always fun. We have John Cena on the other team here, who's also a Barbarian. I'm happy to be playing against John Cena finally. It's been a long time since he's been outstepping the square circle with such a competitor as I am. When will the game turn into open beta, and will the game be free to play? It will be free to play, and we have no date set on open beta just yet. Getting over the holiday cold, I think. So CPUs here, this usually happens when either matchmaking fails, and a whole host of reasons that can happen. Many of them which we ourselves look into, see if it's an issue of a game, and also sometimes it can also be something to do with someone's Steam. But as is closed beta, we have many things that we're still working on. But we'll still be able to use these players even though they have dropped off. So on this time we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 barbarians. A bit more of a mix, almost no Greeks on our side, just 2 Greeks. On the other team, a lot more Greeks, a lot more heavy infantry over here. Where on our time it's a bit more varied, so we'll probably have a bit more ranging cavalry. And if you're interested, don't forget to go to Total War Arena site and get yourself a key. Put your log in. Hopefully, depending on your location, you'll most likely get a key quite quickly. So hopefully we'll have a better game than we did on Marathon last time. It didn't quite go to plan. But it did at least showcase the fact that if people do rush off on their own, it only hurts the rest of the team. As we have balanced this as being a very it has you can go alone completely, and you can do well sometimes, but to get the most success in the game, you need to work with others and work as a team. And sometimes that works out, and sometimes it doesn't, but it's more guaranteed that way, at least. Long load. It's John Cena as well. Come on, John Cena. You can do it. I'm just like watching through the window in the other room where everyone's playing with Vercingetorix, which I'm sure a few people in this chat would probably like us to just move the camera over there, but you're going to have to wait, guys. I'm sorry. This is where I need elevator music playing in the background. Usually loading times are much quicker than this, and eventually we'll just cut off whoever is loading in really slowly. People asking if there's going to be bug fixes in the next patch. Of course there is. That's what patches are for. Still waiting to load in. Very rare that it's this long. Oh, finally. There we go. So, I'm Barbarian, so I'm going to focus more down here and or up here. Let's see where a certain player goes. Kind of want to follow him, so where's 2? I'll take number 3. So important places on this map are these 2 watchtowers here, because they give such massive amount of vision, and with that you can really especially if you're pushing into an abyss. So if we're attacking, we want control this watchtower because we can see everything here. Because usually in this marsh here, you wouldn't get any vision at all. So that's why taking watchtowers is really important. Vision is really, really important to all. And it's something that the more you do, the more chances you are of being able to catch the enemy.
Capture their base, or cut them down.
Say, swordsman. All right. Quickly now.
So Levy Riders here, not exactly the greatest unit in melee, but they are very good at spotting, and that's kind of the way I'm looking to use them today. Now we do have some AFK players, so let's bring them out and actually do something with them.
In the name of Rome. Ready, willing, and able. Ready and able. Aye. Move it. Gotcha. Aye. Riders, advance.
Thing is, I'm well aware we've got people on the other team, I think, probably in this chat, so I've got to be quite careful. But yeah, you can see, just moving ahead, trying to give a bit of vision for our team. That watchtower up there probably gives them vision of this unit, so I need to be a little bit careful. So there's some archers, probably the spear unit defending. Kind of a good target, but at the same time, almost too good to be true.
On me. Moving out. Right now. Understood. Quickly now.
Haste! We have drawn first blood. Our plan takes motion.
Right now.
So my cavalry here can't really engage in this fight and do well, but that's okay because I don't need to. I just need to get into positions where I can use my other units, which is my sword unit here. That unit died there. Now I'm bringing that one around. So I'm going to use my 2 cav here to just really screen the rest of this while my allies mop up what's left of this player. So he goes up unsupported and then gets cut down. And there you can see, I've been waiting for him because I know he's been like looking around. So I assumed he was trying to get behind us. Oh, he got cavalry support. It's a trap. Bringing in some reinforcements as they are needed. So I'm pulling out my archers here. They have some as well, so I'm going to go find them. Meanwhile, I'm going to try and cut off this unit here, which is trying to get round. Oh, those archers firing right into combat. Both enemy and ally. But we are bringing in some allies here, so it's not a foregone conclusion is it going to go wrong. So I'm using the dropped player here, trying to come in to help. Oh no, I wasn't paying attention to my unit. Disaster. I'm going to keep that unit back here. This one's still fighting, which is good. I'm going to come in here, get myself a good charge. See, I'm still waiting on that arch unit here. I know I can kill it, so let's try and go around for it.
All before us! Sprint!
Moving out!
Swords! Melee infantry ready! For the gods!
In the name of Rome! Ready and waiting!
You can see I'm trying to micro a few units here.
In the name of Rome! Ready! Able! In the name of Rome!
Ready for orders! Battle ready!
They have their archers firing into combat with their own archers, which is a recipe for disaster.
By your command! Sons of Mars!
The cavalry might die eventually, but they are doing sterling work.
For Rome!
For Rome!
Ready! Willing and able!
Swordsman!
Battle ready and eager! As you say!
Battle ready and eager!
I'm going to move this unit back here. Oh no, here. Easy target.
Swordsman!
Swords!
At your service! For Rome!
Oh, those archers are in deep trouble.
Swordsman!
Always need to move quick, especially when there's
At your service!
enemies around.
Ready for orders! In service to Rome! Swordsman! Swordsman! By your command! Ready to serve Rome!
Oh, just keep running back. Oh, there's no need to stand there like that.
We await your command!
Our unit routes!
You can see the
Jupiter!
camping back with their units there. Keep my cav out the fight as much as possible. Don't need to waste them just yet. They're a very good unit later on.
Swordsman! Ready for orders! For the gods!
There we go. As it stands right now, we have quite a lot of infantry left. But so do they. And see they're going for a watchtower there. We need to make sure they don't get that. So I'm going to send up our units here. We got one that way,
Ready for
one
orders!
that way, one
Swordsman!
that way. Just kind of surround them from all sides. Fortunately for us, they do have a lot of range units still. We do have some, but not as many. So this will be quite painful.
Swordsman!
Jupiter
Might
gives us
actually
strength!
back off. That might actually be the better thing to do.
Serve Rome! Yours to command!
Romans ready for duty!
Wait until our teammate turns up with more range units.
Jupiter gives us strength!
Why is he constantly going in there on them? There's an heavy infantry charge. You can see it just melts that unit.
At your service!
In service to Rome!
Romans ready for duty! Brave Romans to a man!
Understood!
We await your command! Proud
We've got our archer player now, so we might have a chance in this battle here.
swordsman! By your command!
Putting defensive testudo on to try and block any of the damage coming in there.
Awaiting orders! By your command!
But with those archers that they have there, that's going to cause us a lot of trouble.
Swordsman! In service to Rome!
We await your command!
So I'm going to use some Pelham, because Pelham are really, really powerful.
Yours to command! Brave Romans to a man! Ready for orders!
archers right now are the things that cause us the most trouble. So we need to be very careful with them.
In the name of Rome. Ready for orders. At your service.
At your service. Yours to command.
In service to Rome. For the gods.
Luckily here, they're going to give us the watchtower, which is a big, big mistake. By giving us the watchtower, it pretty much means that we can just control this.
Swordsman. Swordsman.
Yeah, charge just decimates what's left of Umber.
In the name of Rome.
John Cena trying to get through on our archers, unfortunately for him, just walks straight into a heavy infantry charge. Just gets massacred. So now we're going to have vision on them, and they're going to try and cap our base. Now the points here are obviously very close. They are ahead quite a bit, but now we have vision of them and of our base. Oh no, archers still up there. Smart place to put them. On the ledge there, you can see. They do have cavalry, so that's dangerous. This is one unit.
Our base
Let's
is
see if it
under
actually
attack.
matters.
We must repel them. At your service.
Swordsman. Ready for orders.
So now we just work together to try and push them out of our base here. If I keep this archer player alive, then I'll be more than happy.
Swordsman.
I want to go up there, but I also want this watchtower. Just gonna go up, let's see what happens.
For Rome. Ready for orders.
Haste!
So as we have archers, we're able to easily decap them here. See their cap going down there quite quickly.
Many troops awaiting orders.
This really forces them to come to us.
3 Romans to a man.
Someone here is definitely not paying too much attention.
Warriors, eager for blood. Swordsman.
We just form attacking testudo, which is not really a good idea.
Ready for battle. At your service. Ready and waiting. Understood. Many troops. Swordsman.
You can see my cav unit there going in and getting the decap on them. Where previously they probably would have been able to completely and utterly kill us. I've lost all my units here, but luckily, gives you a bit of luck. Everything else is fine. Building fortifications in there. You see, even though they technically could have fought and won the battle before, they held back, and unfortunately for them, got absolutely massacred.
Swordsman.
So now we have a lot of infantry left. Unfortunately, I don't think we can win this game because we've had a lot of CPUs. But we've done a lot more in this battle than they did, luckily.
Ready for orders.
But it all came down to that watchtower here. They didn't need to sacrifice. They could have defended it quite easily. But unfortunately, because they didn't, they gave us vision and we were able to just walk them down like we did there.
Swordsman. Swordsman.
move forward here. You see the time is going to run down. They still have a unit. I think they just got a unit left in the base. But we did have 3 CPUs. Sometimes if a matchmaking fails for whatever reason, it will leave you with CPUs instead of real players. So they win this game, but I'd say that's kind of a win really. 400 to 174. But it does happen sometimes, unfortunately. What is the time? It's almost 5, so we got that out of the way. You can see, even though we absolutely smashed this team, we didn't have a full 3 players, so it's kind of unfortunate for us. But we did really well. These guys, everyone here did very, very well. And we managed to absolutely smash a massive amount of their teams. Right, okay, so as you can see from that, we have acquired a lot of unit XP. So I'm going to put that in there, level up. With that, I'm going to get Frenzy, which is the does a lot more damage. So now I can go up to tier 2. There you go. Scout Raiders. So now these guys are much better at scouting and so forth, but I'm also going to upgrade my other unit. So I'm going to go for Warband here, which is a really, really strong unit. One of my favourites, actually. In fact, I'm going to take 2 of those and go more into the woods with these ones. Now, their consumables are slightly different. So we've got charge bonus, which is definitely something I want, and they're going to have melee damage as well. And these guys definitely focus more on melee attack than the others. Now, Barbarians later on the armor tree start to upgrade some really cool stuff, especially when you get to warriors here at tier 4. You start to get, where is it? There you go, shield bash, which you get for having a certain shield. And then later on as well, you start to get things that increase your fear and so on, which do a lot of damage as well. So yeah, all around they're very, very, very powerful units.
For the freemen of Midgard.
When's the new commander come out? He will come out sometime this month. So now I kind of got tier 3. I mean, on Barbarians, obviously we haven't filled out the tech tree too much just yet. But as it goes all the way to tier 8, Blood Riders, very, very good light cavalry unit, and Chosen Swords, very, very powerful light infantry melee unit. Very, very good right now. And the other factions, kind of, with the commanders, we've gone through before. Scipio is kind of assault and cavalry. He's kind of very well rounded because you can take all types of units with him. And then over on the Greeks, you've got Alexander the Great, who's very, very good with cavalry, but also can take melee and range. Siana, who's very, very good with range because of his unit Barosh here, which reduces the loading time. Leonidas, who has Shield Bash, which is one of his go-to abilities, which is very, very powerful when it comes to being surrounded. You do a lot of damage and it floors your opponents to the ground. Hold the line, which kind of reflects charges back and so on, and stops you from moving very quickly, but it is very powerful. Find Shade, kind of a good way to block missile damage, but it does reduce your visibility, speed and melee defense. And then Battle Cry, which increases your melee defense and also your morale as well. So very, very good in the fight. Miltiades, very kind of an all-rounder in a way. We have infantry charge, which increases acceleration, speed, and charge bonus. Very, very powerful. Drop shield. You drop your shield, you lose a lot when it comes to like shield, armor, and missile block, but you do increase your speed and melee attack and acceleration. Ray shields, as long as you have a drop shield, will mean that you can. You've got ratio, which blocks missile and so forth, and then you have fear down here, which is very, very powerful ability, which reduces enemies' melee defense. Yeah, so if you guys are just joining on stream, this is very much more of a like a beginners getting into the game and so forth. And just if you've never played Total War Arena, this is kind of like a starting point for a lot of people. We'll be having our standard more high quality, higher tier games and so on. That will usually come in on Tuesdays. We'll be match up with the community and team up Tuesdays, and we'll have another show when we bring in our devs and kind of talk about upcoming stuff, which I'm sure people in here will be very, very interested in. This is Alps map, which is very much focused on this watchtower at the middle. Both teams have a watchtower each, one here and one here, which obviously gives large amount of vision, and this one here most important. So early on, let's see if we can get control of that, because that'll be very powerful for us. We're Barbarian, so we're going to focus more on the woods here, and something you'd see, woods on this side and woods down here. That's where the Barbarians are going to focus and do the best. I am using a lower tier account. I can always go back on mine, but I thought, be a bit fair. Everyone's just using the drawing tool. You have a ping tool, which is F1, and drawing tool, which is F2. So you ping, map back, and we draw. And you can also do it in this way as well. By pressing tab, you can draw, and you can ping. F1 for ping, F2 for draw. Now I'm Barbarians once again. My guys are medium instead of light. But my cavalry is still light. So I'm going to take these guys in the woods. These guys will still do perfectly fine in the woods. They won't get any big bonuses from, but they won't take as many penalties either. I'm also going to put my momentum on so it will increase their speed while it's going on. You can see our team going for the watchtower as quick as possible. Probably not the best units to take a watchtower with, being levies here. And you have Caesar at the front there. This is kind of when you see other infantry and cavalry. I haven't seen any just yet, but this is where they'll come up if they do. Oh, there you go. And I don't think Nope's noticed. This is going to be a very Nope situation. So they're going to gain watchtower advantage straight off the bat, which is going to be very, very good for them. And with that, they're going to be able to control this game from the early part. I'm going to try and bring my cavalry around, see if I can find something sweet to attack. That's what I'm after, you see. Those kind of targets. So while they were busy firing away at me, I managed to get my cavalry around the back of them, and now I'm just tearing up this unit. Along with that, I've now got my infantry here. This is just going to be a massacre. So yeah, this is not a bad situation for me because I'm pretty much fighting lots of units which I can kill. And slowly but surely cutting them up here. The cav units are chasing down one unit of levies. It was in fact the guy who's in base last time and wasn't attacking. So. Oh, but there you go, they got loads of archers on top of the hill. They're using... Oh, not using the vision up there. Interesting.
Warriors, on me! Warriors, move out! As you say, moving out! Move it! Warriors, move out! All right! Battle ready and
Friend, speed.
I'm using the tall grass here, so they don't have any vision on me. Or at least if they do, not very good vision. So I'm going to try and go around this blob here.
warriors!
I have archers on this ridge, which means it's a bit dangerous for me.
As you say,
Can't quite go out where I want. You see, they've got levies up there. They don't have a watchtower, which is interesting.
warriors, move out!
That's usually where you'd want to focus.
As you
I'm going
say,
to use the speed now. I'm going to come out on these guys. Blobbed up.
all right! Move it! Move out!
No point in throwing. I need to get in there as quick as possible.
Move it!
Blood, kill. Blood, kill.
Moving out! Swordsman!
Understood.
Warriors! Eager for blood! Forward! Moving!
Our base is under attack. We must repel them.
Weapon, as you say! Stood!
So there's a unit still trying to... Just over here. So I'm going to try and get behind them and use my
Gotcha!
cav. See that charge just kept going through and I managed to land into a lot of enemies. Definitely not intentional, but it does happen. Hopefully my team can get someone back and defend our base. Always a risk when you're being so offensive like this. We have Nope gone back. Hopefully he'll be able to do the job.
Our base is under attack. We must repel them.
You see my cavalry just using their mobility. They're not the greatest in combat, but they are pretty good if they have the chance. Because they can just keep harassing. This unit can't really turn around and fire, and it can't really turn around and do any damage. So, as you can see, I mean, it's doing well. That cap just got stopped. See, they're standing there, and ranged units can just decap them so easily. So it looks like we managed to get our first win on this stream.
Odin smiles on our actions.
I'm gonna go take this watchtower so we actually have good vision on whatever's coming. There you go, base captured nice and quickly. So there you go. A lot of silver in this game, a lot of commander XP, a lot of points overall. That's a lot to do with the fact I was able to take out, I think, an AFK player with tier 3 archers. So we're going to play a game with the Greeks. We're going to move up to a bit of a higher tier. Going to show what you can unlock commanders. So certain commanders have to be unlocked using silver, which obviously you get through playing the game. So just for this game alone, I got 15k. So that's enough to unlock Caesar here. So
There is no
sorry,
time
Caesar?
to
Alexander the
lose.
Great.
My destiny waits for no one.
So as it stands, I can't really go and get cavalry with him. So I need to actually no, I'm gonna play Leonidas. Why not?
With each step, bear
So
courage
gonna get
in
ourselves
mind.
to tier 3, which is first of all got to upgrade some abilities here. So I'm at tier 3 now. Upgrade to light hoplites. Upgrade again. There you go. So now I'm bringing myself 3 hoplite units. So we're going to have some fun here. So let's have core shield. Oh yeah, I can't get those, can I? God, I forgot about it. So here are the consumables of the Greeks, a little bit different. Share wine, which kind of gives you a morale boost. And these ones are more focused on your melee defense and so forth. I'm cool with that. Okay, so you can see when you get to about this tier, you start to see stuff like helmets and so forth. It start to give you bonuses against certain stuff. We'll get the cuirass because they look kind of cool with the cuirass. And I get a shield as well. Hell, I might as well get the helmet. Right there, you see, I've run out of XP now, so I can't use any more commander XP for either me on my commanders.
Return
or
with these shields or upon
units.
them.
But it's a good way you can switch up your stuff quite quickly, and you can always focus more on changing. You can stick to like one path and go from like tier 1 to tier 10. You can start spreading out all the time, so you never have to stay exactly onto one or another. So you can always use Commander XP to completely change the kind of playstyle that you've been going through for either weeks or even just days. So the Greeks, as I was saying, a bit more heavy infantry here. You can see that they go all the way. We've got raw Spartans, and they've also got pike units, which are a very dangerous unit to deal with. Frontally, they're almost impossible to kill, and Spartans are just difficult to kill. So all these units here are just very, very, very hard to deal with in combat. Their cavalry are tier 4s when they come in, citizen cav, and then you've got companion cav, Thracians, I can never say them. Asbestos, companion cavalry, royal cavalry, and Hellenic cavalry. Then you have the Scythian horse archers and Cimmerian horse archers, very, very effective horse archers. Then you've got the peltasts, and then you've got the archers, starting with some Messenian archers, Ionian archers, and Syrians, and then eventually Scythian, and then you get Cretan archers at the very end there, which are immensely powerful, as they have been in all Total War games. So back on to Opus Gracia again. We'll see how this one goes. Hopefully. We have a lot of Leonidas on this one. So do they as well. So I expect to see a lot of hoplites. So last time we went for the tower. Tower did very well for us. I mean, as soon as you get vision of that, any archers you have can pretty much just target anyone at will. Cavalry can pick a target to go for, which, as you can see in that last battle, was very, very helpful for me. I was able to decide exactly where I wanted to go, and then from that I was able to get behind them and cause a hell of a lot of damage. But previously I had no idea where anything was. I had to be very, very, very careful. So I'm still a bit bunged up, but it's slowly going away. So, wow. We have a lot of spear units. I mean, almost exclusively spear units. We have no cavalry, and we only have one player with range. Oh no, we have 2 range units on our team and 1 artillery. This is going to be a very interesting game. Very difficult game as well, depending on how many range units they have. So I'm telling our team pretty much very simply, rush forward or we die. So we need to make sure that the range units we do have stay alive, because we kind of need them. I can't believe everyone has spearmen. Not a single unit cav.
Capture the enemy base or kill all enemy forces. By your
So we want that watchtower as quick as possible, mainly just to work out what's going on. Players here spreading out, all going their own separate ways. Good and bad. Mostly bad. It's always best to stay as close to other people as possible. You see, they actually have some archers, so that's gonna be quite difficult. So it greets a little less about movement and so forth, and a lot more about just brute strength. So my commander here, he has share wine, so I can kind of keep my units in the fight a little bit longer than everyone else's.
Push back! On me! As you command! At speed! Move up! Orders understood! Understood!
Whoa, they got artillery. They are not going to be fun in this game.
At the double! At the double! Follow me! Spears! Spears! On me! At the double! By your command! As you command! Follow me! Yes, Commander! We await your command! By your command! At your service!
Oh, I dodged that. Just hits me again. Where's the rest of our team? Oh, we need to move forward.
Yes, Commander! Move out! At speed! As you command! Your command!
I know there's a player up there, but there's very little I can do about it as it's done. So it's just going to be this marching forward and hoping that the artillery doesn't just wipe us out.
Orders understood! Move out! By your command! Move out! Follow me! On me! By your command! At the double! Follow me!
Interesting, still got vision up there.
Move out! Follow me! At speed! At the double! Yes, Commander!
I feel sorry for the cat player. There's not that much you can do. You can get vision and so forth, but when it actually comes to doing damage, he's gonna suffer. So they got artillery up here, so I'm just gonna keep marching forward, and hopefully I can find them and kill them.
Yes, Commander!
You got archers here. There's nothing we can do.
As you command! Understood! Spears! Move out! By your command!
You can see we're kind of overwhelming them in a way. We do outnumber them in play numbers,
Understood!
but that is to kind of be expected at this point.
At speed! Yes, Commander! Yours to command! For honor! Yes, Commander! At the double! Follow me! Orders understood! On me! Follow me! To arms! Attack! Into the dark!
Using shield bash at point blank range and below their units.
Kill them all! As you command! On me! At your service! Get at them! By your command!
So just bullheadedness here, really.
We await your
Just keep marching forward until we get here.
on me!
Here we are,
Commander!
right on top of their artillery now. That's archer fire, and it's theirs, so that's annoying.
Knock them down! Orders understood! Understood! Orders
We'll just peel off a unit and hopefully just keep them busy for a while.
ready for orders!
You see, as long as they have archer units, it's very, very difficult for us to actually capture the base. So it's going to be quite difficult here. What we can really do is keep pushing at them.
Spears! Move out! command. Spears! Spears!
Let's see if I can get these
Yes,
archers there.
commander.
They all seem to be running into each other.
As you command.
Let's work it out.
By your command.
Oh wow.
Our base has been captured. Quick, to its defense.
Oh no, not a base.
Follow me. Yes, commander. Yes, commander. Spears. Spears. Move out. Move out. By your command. To victory. On me. Kill them. Into the dirt. Hack them down. Understood. Kill them.
I do have archers nearby, so they probably should be able to stop that.
Await your command. Spears. Spears. At the double.
To change your mouse controls, go option, go controls, and then you've got it here. Arena count and classic arena count.
Understood. Our base has been captured. Quick.
All down. Basically, the guy who will save us in this game will be him. But he needs to get vision on the enemy. I assume they're probably about there. Draw it to him so he can work out where to go. No, don't stop. Keep moving. There we go. And they're either here or they're over here. But he's stopping for some reason. Oh, thank God, they lost that charge.
By your command. Understood. As you command. Spears. We're capturing the enemy base. Increase the pressure. Orders to command. Weapons ready. To battle. At the double. Show them. Show of force.
The only bad thing about throwing all these units in here to this fight is that we will lose this cap quite a lot. If they're going to be using shield bash and so forth, so it's going to be very difficult for us. But my shield was slowing me down quite a lot. But we have units defending, and their artillery got chased away. They could easily get back on the artillery piece, to be honest. So we don't really have anyone there to stop them.
We await your command. Knock them down! Orders on our base has been captured! Quick! To its defense!
So yeah, even though we only had 100 spear units, we still managed to win this game. See there, they're trying to get back in there, but they're not going to do it in time, I don't think.
Spears!
Keeping this unit just outside to get the cap, while the rest of them just finish off what's left
Rip them apart!
of that unit. Oh, oh. It keeps going up and down, up and down, up and down. There you go. There's a victory.
Increase the pressure!
So guys, there you go. This has just really been a quick jump into the lower tiers of Total Arena. Next week we'll be back with more of a mid-level thing, probably focusing more on tier 4 and tier 5, and things like consumables and just little bits and pieces which people might not have picked up on. So that is going to be this episode of Training Grounds. So keep an eye on Thursdays is the usual time for it. Unfortunately, we moved it to Wednesday today, but it will be the regular time at about 3 p.m. on a Thursday. So, guys, thank you very much for watching, and we'll be